This is the METS POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the New York Mets. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Kodai Senga continues to throw scoreless inning after scoreless inning, and Pete Alonso continues to come through for the New York Mets as they defeat the Cardinals 3-0 to win this series and to extend their winning streak to 3. Welcome in to the Mets Postcast here on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and on the Locked On Mets podcast feed. I'm your Postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you after every single Mets game throughout the course of the season, and another fun one to break down. The Mets, they have a formula here in the early part of the season. You get offense from guys like Pete Alonso, you get good quality starting pitching, and you get a bullpen that just throws up zeros. I mean, the scoreboard operator at Citi Field could probably just put the zeros up ahead of time with how well this bullpen has been this season. But let's start with the top story from this one, because something is brewing here for the New York Mets, and it's a guy that we maybe have forgotten about because he wasn't around much last season, but through the first couple of starts this year, he is reminding us of how good he can be.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Kodai Senga picked up his third win of the season. He moves to 3-1 here through his first 4 starts of 2025. And I think the takeaway here is we forgot about him last year because he only made the one start against the Atlanta Braves and then made a couple of postseason appearances. But we saw in his rookie season how dominant Kodai Senga could be, how dominant that ghost fork could be. And that was certainly on display today. He made some hitters look very silly. When you make Nolan Arenado, and I know this is not the Nolan Arenado that was crushing the ball in Colorado early in his career, but when you make a future Hall of Famer like Nolan Arenado look silly, your stuff is locked in. And Kodai Senga here in the early part of this season, his stuff is locked in. Now, somebody may want to check me on the math here because I am not a math guy, but I was trying to keep tally during the game. We're going to try to do the math here together to make sure we're in the right spot. His last inning in his first start of the year against Miami was scoreless. He then did not give up a single run in 5 innings against Miami in his next start. So 5 + 1, that's 6. The 7 scoreless against the Athletics out in Sacramento. 6 + 7, 13. I think so far my math is good. And then we add 5 2/3 today. That is 18 2/3 scoreless innings in a row for Kodai Senga. That's ace-level stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That is a number 1 starter, a guy that could be pitching in the All-Star game, a guy that could be in Cy Young conversations if he continues to pitch this well. The Mets pushed him a little bit today. He got up there into the 80s with his pitch count through 89 pitches. I think they were really trying to get him out of that 6th inning so he could put up 6 innings after 7 in that last start. But if my math is correct, and somebody in the chat can definitely correct me if I'm wrong here, but 18 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings for Kodai Senga, just being the dominant force. And we mentioned this yesterday. We mentioned it the day before. The starting pitching for the New York Mets, they just passed the baton to the next guy. Quality start. Here you go. Next guy in line, your turn for a quality start. And it has just been, it's been everybody. It was David Peterson yesterday. It was Kodai Senga today. And the Mets hope that it'll be Clay Holmes tomorrow when they try to break out the brooms and sweep the St. Louis Cardinals and give themselves a nice 4-game losing streak. The offense wasn't all there for the New York Mets. They did have 8 hits, but they only put 3 runs across. But with Kodai Senga on the mound giving you what he gave you and a bullpen that continues to just be dominant. They are absolutely dominant. Reed Garrett came in, gave you 4 outs, nothing against his ledger. 4 outs on 11 pitches, just filling up the strike zone, trusting their stuff, and looking at a Cardinals team that was coming into this series, crushing the ball. I mean, Brendan Donovan, statistically, one of the best hitters in the National League, 0 for 4 today. In this Mets pitching staff, the rotation, the bullpen is very quickly becoming a strength and a major asset to this team. You tip your cap to the pitching lab, you tip your cap to Jeremy Hefner, and you tip your cap to everybody involved because they have put in the work to be this good, to be this dominant, to where you get into the 6th, 7th inning of a baseball game and you know who's available on a given day. You knew Edwin Diaz was going to be available in this game today. And if that Edwin Diaz is going to show up here for the next couple of weeks, the Mets are going to be able to put some victories on the board. I see some comments about Minter being a little shaky. Yeah, he got into some trouble there in the 8th. But guess what? When you're a veteran, you've been there, you've done that, you have the confidence of your team, you trust your defense behind you, you trust your stuff, you let the ball get put in play. You got a Gold Glove caliber shortstop out there in Francisco Lindor who has some hardware that bails you out and you don't have any damage allowed. Listen, this bullpen, while dominant, they're not going to be perfect. They're not going to go out there and it's going to be 1, 2, 3 every single time out. What makes them so dominant is, one, they're very rarely in trouble as a group. But the most important thing, when they get into that trouble, this team gets out of that trouble. Kodai Senga is a great example of this. That's that 5th inning. You want to talk about a turning point in this game? How about that double play that he got Brandon Donovan to ground into? One of the 4 outs that Donovan made in this game. He battles. Donovan's fouling off pitches, although I'm not sure. That certainly looked like another strikeout. How many strikeouts did Kodai end up with? 4. I want to add a 5th to his box score because I thought he got Brendan Donovan. I don't think he foul tipped that one. Even the broadcast, even Adam Wainwright, who probably doesn't want to say anything nice about the Mets, especially when they're playing the Cardinals. He was even like, yeah, well, the umpire called it, but didn't really look like it to me. But what a great at bat there by Senga to just continue to pour strikes in there, to continue to just force Brendan Donovan to foul things off. And then he got him to ground into a double play to get those 2 outs there in the 5th. So was just a really, just another great start from Kodai Senga. I know it wasn't the 7 scoreless that you saw out in Sacramento against the A's, but he has been absolutely dominant here to start this season. His ERA coming into the night was 1.06. So certainly expect that to drop here with this performance. And it was a similar scenario to the Sacramento game out in Sacramento against the A's. Not looking to just strike a bunch of guys out. He only had 4 in today's game. Just fill up the strike zone. He had a 7-pitch first inning. Why? Just going to throw my really great stuff, and you're going to make really bad contact. My defense is going to be exactly where they need to be, and things are going to be perfect. And that is exactly what Kodai Senga has done throughout the first couple starts of this season. And for somebody that the Mets are counting on to be a huge part of what they do, and for a guy who did not have a lot of time last year, 1 start, and then what we saw from him in the postseason coming back from a major injury, I mean, this has to be the perfect start for Kodai Senga and for the New York Mets to be this happy with how things are going. Juan Soto with a multi-hit game. He got things started for the New York Mets. And yeah, unfortunately, there is some bad news coming out of this game. And we will talk about Mark Vientos and his injury here on the other side. Scaling your business, it requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts that are ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives your business flexibility by connecting you with top freelance talent across multiple industries: IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or you're looking for a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. If you need help with a marketing campaign, Upwork can connect you with a freelance expert who delivered incredible results. Posting a job is free and simple, and within a day, multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com, UPWRK.com, to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trade, SupplyHouse. Whether you're plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, SupplyHouse is the reliable way to order products online. They've got an easy-to-use website that is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, they've got a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts and 400 plus top brands. You're going to find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, SupplyHouse, they've got expert support, industry-leading service. You're always going to talk to a real person. And for those trade pros out there that are looking for the extra edge, got a free Trade Master program that offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and you're going to see discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it is your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use the promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order at supplyhouse.com. Back here on the Mets postcast on the Locked On Mets YouTube channel and on the Locked On Mets podcast feed. We went, let me check the time here, nearly 10 minutes into this postcast, and we did not discuss the absolute moonshot that Pete Alonso hit that I know on the broadcast it looked like it landed, but I'm going to need to see proof that the ball actually did come down, that it is still not floating around Citi Field, potentially landing in a river somewhere. He crushed that ball, and he continues to be such an awesome story to start this season because, let's face it, if we were nitpicking from this game, the Mets only scored 3 runs. Their offense continues to be somewhat of a mixed bag, but you know who is not a mixed bag? Pete Alonso, a 443-foot home run. He had 2 hits in this game. For those of you keeping track at home, for his batting average, 356 with a 467 on base percentage and a 753 slugging. I'm no baseball expert, even though I tend to host these Mets postcasts, but I would say a 356 average, a 466 on base percentage, a 753 slugging, I would consider that very, very good. Pete Alonso, excellent start to this season, and he continues to just give this team runs when they need it. Gave him an insurance run to push the lead from 2-0 to 3-0. Juan Soto had a nice day at the dish. 2 for 4, drove in an RBI that got things started in this game for the New York Mets, a RBI single. And I'll be honest, I wrote in my notes after the RBI single from Juan Soto, are we done being upset and mad at Juan Soto for maybe having a slow start, back-to-back games with an RBI for this team? He's got his batting average up to 240, still has that on-base percentage humming at 374. And again, drove in runs on back-to-back nights. So maybe we stop with the Juan Soto slander. Maybe we just let the baseball season play out a little bit before we get on a guy. For all the money that he's making, he is still contributing to this team and has done so over the last couple of days. The one sour note from this game is Mark Vientos left with what the team is calling groin discomfort. And the broadcast did a terrible job of explaining what happened here. They just kind of said Vientos is out of this game, Beatty is in this game. And the only thing that I can think of is when he made that leaping grab to steal a base hit away. That seems like the type of play where something could have tugged and he could have felt something in that groin. So certainly those are injuries that you have to be extremely careful with. Those are the injuries that may see Mark Vientos sit down for a little bit, could very easily see him landing on the IL with a bit of a groin strain. If they want to give him some extra time, make sure that thing fully heals. You don't want that thing to linger. And then what could have very easily been just one 10-day IL stint turns into a 3, 4, 5-week injury because they tried to push through. Team's playing really well. And by the way, Brett Beatty's doing okay. Drew a walk in this game, made a great defensive play. By the way, how often have the Mets so far this season have had that play where with less than 2 outs, the runner is coming home on contact, and the third baseman for the New York Mets, whether it's Beatty, whether it's Vientos, have just been able to make a nice, easy throw to Torrens or Senga at home plate, and they've just gotten it out. I mean, it just feels like there's been a handful of those plays early on this season. So Beatty into the game for about 15 seconds and has to make that play at home for the Mets. And so Beatty could get a little bit of run here. We know Jeff McNeil is coming back. We know Francisco Alvarez is also right around the corner. And so you just, perhaps there's an opportunity if Vientos has to sit down to reward Brett Beatty for the way that he's playing, because he has been better as of late. Drew a walk. He's been making some better contact. And again, looking for every silver lining we can with Brett Beatty to try to make sure that we don't give up on this kid, because the potential is still there. And he's been playing well as of late. Jonathan says the turning point, the Citi Field attendance sold out, playoff atmosphere. Yeah, it was really cool to see that on a Saturday in the middle of April, that place was rocking, that place was buzzing, and they were having a great time watching their team take the third game of this series to get back into the win column when it comes to series after dropping that one in Minnesota. It is 3 in a row for the New York Mets. I mean, listen, the player of the game, he had a 443-foot home run. He had 2 RBIs in this game. We're going to give it to Pete Alonso. He's running away with this thing. He's going to be the player of the year at this point. He's an MVP candidate at this point. He has just been absolutely outstanding for this team. And mentioned it a little bit in the open, but it was nice to see Edwin Diaz have a shutdown inning. We talked about the next step for him is, hey, come into the game, don't have that leadoff hit, don't have that leadoff walk, have the command from the word go. And that is exactly what we saw in the 9th inning from Edwin Diaz. Was it clean? Was it just, 3 pitches to every batter, an immaculate inning? No. He got behind the first batter 3-0, but very quickly found his command. 3 straight strikes after that. And then he got Gorman, tough at bat, 9-pitch at bat there from Nolan Gorman that Diaz won. And then he got the ground out from Pozo to end the game. But the Mets, they have a formula right now. They have a recipe. It is Pete Alonso does a whole lot. The Mets get quality starting pitching, and the bullpen throws up a bunch of zeros. And pitching plays in baseball. If you have consistent, reliable starting pitching, if you have a trustworthy bullpen that you can mix and match guys, the Mets, every single night they get to the ballpark, they know who's going to be their ninth inning guy. They know who their eighth and seventh inning guys normally are. But other than that, they have guys. They want Jose Butto to be their setup guy one night. They can do that. They want Max Kranick to have that role. Sure. They just have guys that in the best possible way can be changed in and out depending on who's available, depending on the situation. And that versatility makes it a lot easier for Carlos Mendoza to manage. It allows him to be more aggressive when a game is there for the taking. He can push certain guys to try to get a win, knowing that, hey, if that guy's down tomorrow, it's going to be okay because I've got a bunch of other guys that I trust. So it is a huge benefit to this team to have all of these guys that are Swiss Army knives, and you can just interchange them in their roles. The Mets have made it 3 in a row. They will send Clay Holmes to the mound tomorrow as they will look for the 4-game sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals, and they will look to extend their winning streak to 4 games, 14-7 through their first 21 games. And yes, you check your National League East standings, still atop the National League East with a series with the Philadelphia Phillies right around the corner. But that will do it for us here on the Mets Postcast. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. You turn on that notification bell so you're notified when these Mets Postcasts go live. This is your hangout spot after each and every Mets game. We break it all down, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Over the last couple of days, it has been a whole lot of good for this team as the Mets defeat the Cardinals 3-0. We are back here tomorrow to recap the series finale as the Mets will go for the sweep and will try to extend their winning streak to 4. Have a good one, everybody.